My cousin Janine was looking for a kidney, and I had posted her GoFundMe page on my Facebook page, and lo and behold, someone that I knew responded to it quite immediately.
Just something very quickly stirred inside my spirit and inside of me, and I knew that I was going to be the one that was going to donate my kidney to this complete stranger who I had never met.
That was the best day of our life. I think we won the lottery that day when I get the news.
She really just wanted to live long enough to see her daughter graduate from high school. And that just, really struck a chord with me. And I didn't hesitate.
Christi is part of my family now. By donating her kidney to giving my child a second chance in life. Now, if you have to go through that process, I tell anybody going through that process, don't give up.
I received my kidney donation on March 27th, 2018. It was a very long process, and I just thought I had to come forward and say thank you to the many people that helped me and that was with me during my entire process. Thank you. Thank you so much. Words cannot express how I feel and how my family feels.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Robert DeLessio, and I'm the host of Rob's Inner Circle, broadcasting worldwide. I would like to thank each and every one of the audience members who are tuning in, and why not welcome you at the same time? Why not give a shout out to our good friend and producer of Rob's Inner Circle, Jenny Duhame, and to our podcast technician, the amazing lady starlight, Patty Saragosa. Thank you so much, everybody. It's going to be a great show. This past Saturday, we were very busy with our Seriously Live broadcast. We had two events to attend to, and the first one was the PKD event where we met up with Louisa Miniaci, who was in downtown Montreal during the Grand Prix weekend, and she was alongside Amanda and Eliana. It was such a great and interesting meet. The broadcast, you'll be able to see it on the Bobby Short Shorts YouTube channel, along with the other event that I'm about to mention. They were both broadcast on my personal Facebook page, and you can go back and you can watch those events as well. Speaking of Louisa, while we were there, she told us a beautiful story that a couple came in from Calgary. They were visiting Montreal, and they took some information, went back home, and to the surprise of Louisa and the PKD Foundation, they got a $1,000 donation by these very generous people. So on behalf of the PKD Foundation, Louisa and the gang, we would like to thank you very much to this anonymous couple who was very, very generous over the weekend. Later that evening, on the Saturday, we were at the Lachine Canal where we met up with the frontman from The Box, Jean-Marc Pizapia, and he was performing with his band for Festival sur le Canal. Congratulations to you, Jean-Marc, for 40 years of beautiful music, and we also would like to give a shout out to the rest of your band members who were absolutely amazing. It was a very fun, energetic show. Only thing is, it was a little cold. It was 11 degrees. It was rainy, humid, damp. Conditions weren't ideal, but the atmosphere was absolutely electrifying. Be sure to watch Daily Struggles, this sitcom that everyone is talking about, and it's on the Rise Up TV channel on the Roku streaming service. Download the Roku app on your smart devices, or you can get the Roku stick at Amazon. Make sure you watch all the productions on the Bobby Short Shorts YouTube channel. Comment, share, click on the like button, subscribe to the Bobby Short Shorts YouTube channel, and hit the notification bell, because every time there's a new production coming out, you will be the first to know. Well, folks, it's that time once again. It's time to slip into our weekly ritual. It's time to sit back. It's time to relax. It's time to take a deep breath, let out the batter, kick up your feet on the side of the table, and let us carry the load. Folks, It's showtime. It is time to bring on our guest. She's coming to you live from Toronto, Ontario, in Canada. She has an amazing story, and I can't wait for her to share it with you. She's a surviving kidney transplant recipient. Here she is, tonight's star attraction on Rob's Inner Circle, Jennen Johnson.
Hi, Rob. How are you?
I'm totally excited to have you on the show. You have a beautiful story to share with us.
Well, thank you very much for having me on the show.
How did you spend this amazing Grand Prix weekend? I know it wasn't in Toronto, it was in Montreal, but are you a Grand Prix fan?
Honestly, I'm not, but all the hype around it and everybody's talking about it, you have no choice but to kind of get swept up and carried away.
So even though your name is spelled as Jennen, it is pronounced Jennen.
Yes, it's Jennen. It's a French name, but it's pronounced Jennen because people have a difficult time saying Jennen to begin with. So to try and add that twist in there, Jennen, it's just too much. So it's just try to keep it simple.
So Jennen, let's take the time to get to know you. Who is Jennen Johnson exactly?
I am a mother. I am a teacher. I try to educate. I try to inform. I'm a wife. I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. I wear many hats. I'm an executive assistant by day. By night, I'm the host of the Green Table Talk on the ACB YouTube channel. So I try to educate others in that sense. I wear many hats. I wear multiple hats. So, yeah.
So tell us about your podcast exactly. What's it all about?
So it's on the ACB YouTube channel that is on YouTube. And there's a lot of educational information on there, a lot of educational, we have videos. I have a show called The Green Table Talk, which is on the same channel. And I just interview people who've been went through what I went through, which is a transplant. And people want to share their story, what they've gone through, what they're going through right now. I've had a few guests who hasn't had a transplant yet, so they're just sharing their story. A few other guests who did receive transplant and their journey with that. It could have been liver, it could have been heart, it could have been like myself, which is a kidney. I had one guest on there. She donated twice. She donated to a child. She donated her liver, and she donated a kidney. So it's that thing. Once you start giving, you just want to keep giving. So we have to put those stories out there because there's a lot of misconception when it comes to donating. And so that's where the ACB YouTube channel comes in. And so we just try to educate.
So how did you meet up with our episode 66 guest, Luisa Miniaci DeLeo, who was on our show? Episode 66, folks. All you gotta do is go into the Bobby Short Shorts YouTube channel, go into the playlist, Rob's Inner Circle. Just scroll down episode 66. You'll find out all about Luisa Miniaci DeLeo, who's an amazing woman.
Amazing.
How is it that you two met?
Like you said, Louise is an amazing woman. She saw my story. So just a little backstory. I placed an ad in the newspaper looking for a kidney donor. And I also then took that ad and placed it on my Facebook page. That ad started circulating, it started trending, and Louisa got a hold of it. I'm assuming someone sent it to her because she wasn't on my Facebook page prior to this. So I'm assuming it was shared with her, and then she reached out to me. She was very nice. She was just very caring and concerning, and she was just, looking out for my well-being and asking me, how am I doing? She told me about her PKD chapter in Montreal. And at that point, we just connected. I added her as a friend, vice versa. And from then on, we just connected. And I had her on the show a couple months back, actually, no, about a month ago. I had her on the show where she shared her story, her journey with PKD and her father and her children. It was a very good episode. So yeah, she just saw my ad and she generously reached out.
And your ad, coincidentally, at first, your mom had told you, put out an ad somewhere, and you approached 3 major Toronto newspapers who turned you down, just weren't interested. And then you went by way of social media. On Facebook, you got 2,000 shares.
Yes, it was amazing. That just literally reignited the fact that humanity is still good. There's a lot of good humans out there. And they just saw my ad. It was a simple ad. It was just basically saying, just if you're an O donor or an O blood type and you're willing to get tested to see if you can help save my life so I can be here for my 12-year-old daughter. She was 12 at the time. Please reach out. And I had a number and that was it. It was a very simple ad. And that ad just went viral. It actually reached all the way to Montreal, and that's where Global TV out there, they got the ad. And then they reached back out to Global TV here in Toronto, and they said, hey, listen, this thing is going viral. I hope you guys, are you doing something with this? Right? So that's when Global TV got the ad, and they reached out to me and they wanted to hear my story. So, yeah.
So let's go back to the moment that you first started having some symptoms to when you actually got your diagnosis, to the moment that you were actively looking for a kidney donation. So let's go through that whole process.
Okay. I hope you have the time, Rob. This is a lengthy story.
Now go on. We got lots of time. Go on, Jennen.
Okay. So when I was in my early 20s, I was doing, I was in college and just doing what you normally do, go out and you're having fun. I go clubbing and what have you. But I felt that even after hours and hours of sleep, I still had this really baggy looking eyes. And it just drove me crazy because, you're in your early 20s, you want to look good, right? You don't want to walk around looking, with baggy eyes. And so it just started to bother me. So I went to my doctor and I explained to him that this is what's happening. No matter how much sleep I'm getting, I still have this really baggy look to my eyes. So he started doing some tests, and it started with a basic test, just basic blood work. And then it continued to more blood work and more blood work. And then he referred me to doctors in, Toronto Western, Toronto General. It was just, so I started getting concerned, of course. But then finally it came down that he referred me to a rheumatologist at Toronto General, and they did some tests. And at one point they went ahead and they said they want to do a kidney biopsy. And so at that point, I'm getting really concerned because what does my kidneys have to do with baggy eyes? Like I didn't get the connection. So then I found out that I had a disease called lupus. And because of lupus, which by the way, lupus is an autoimmune disease. And literally what it does, it just takes your immune system and it turns the immune system against itself. So my immune system is just attacking itself. It's attacking the bad things, the good things, indifferent, it's just attacking. And unfortunately, one of the things it attacked was my kidney, and therefore my kidney started to fail. And so I'm getting all this information in my early 20s. I'm not thinking about, any type of health issues to this extent. I honestly thought it would be something simple as, hey, take some vitamin D or, eat more vegetables or something simple. But now I'm finding out that it's lupus. I'm finding out that lupus is attacking my kidneys. They went ahead and they did a kidney biopsy where they said my kidney was really small and smaller than usual. And so just a lot of information was just bombarding me at this point. So that is how I found out that I had lupus and I had small kidneys. And so eventually they said, I will need a kidney transplant. Not now, but I will need a kidney transplant. Now, Rob, I don't know if you remember when you were in your 20s, but I didn't really listen. I wasn't really that person that would just take all of this in and do the right thing. I just thought, you know what, I'll just juice or I'll just cleanse. That'll fix the problem. That'll just, boost my kidney up and I'm ready to go. That's it. But unfortunately, that was not the case. So I didn't take in the information as quickly as I should have. And I continued living my life, just like I said, juice, cleanse, exercise more, get more rest. I'll be fine. But that wasn't the case. So time went on. And then I realized, you know what? I'm getting worse. I can tell I'm getting worse. I'm feeling worse. I'm not keeping my food down the way I normally would. My doctor confirmed it. My rheumatologist confirmed it. Yes, you are getting worse. And we need to start looking into, kidney transplant, dialysis, taking those paths.
Okay, but besides the kidneys, does lupus attack other organs?
Yes, lupus can definitely attack other organs. Yes.
Okay, so lupus, the illness lupus completely changed your life. We know for a fact that you were training. You thought you could shake it off. Of course, at 20 years old, we think we're invincible. Nah, not me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this changed your life forever because I can imagine the struggle you were going through because the wait is like it's long. You put out an ad out there and you know that your doctor told you what you have 4 years to live and the waiting list is 6 years.
Yes.
And then you're scratching your head. You're saying to yourself, "Oh my God, am I going to make it?"
Definitely. And at that time, I have a 12-year-old daughter. She was 12 at that time. So if I'm going by the numbers of what the doctor is giving me, I will be gone by the time my daughter turns 16. And that was not an option for me. So I figured, you know what, we have to do something. And I reached out, I mentioned previously, my mom suggested putting an ad in the newspaper. So I reached out to the 4 major newspapers in our city, and they all rejected me. They all said, no, unfortunately, they can't do this. They're not sure if it's a legitimate reason. I could be looking, I'm trying to disguise it as an innocent ad. But in the end, I'm just trying to do like a organ harvesting. So I'll take the organ from this person and sell it to somebody overseas for, obscene amount of money. And I'm like, no, this is for me. Like, I'm not trying to do anything illegal. Like, I'm just trying to live. That's all I'm trying to do. And so after being rejected and feeling defeated, because I really thought that was a good idea, putting the ad in the newspaper, my mom suggested, you know what about this newspaper? And it's called Now Magazine. So it's like a newspaper, but it's not really a magazine. It's like a magazine type newspaper. And at that time, you could just go and grab it from, for free from one of the newspaper boxes. So I said, you know what? Why not? What do I have to lose? Right. So I called, and I was very hesitant. I have to be honest with you, Rob. I was very hesitant and very nervous because after hearing no so many times, you start thinking this might not work. So I reached out, and there's a woman who I was transferred to, very nice woman. And I said, here's my situation. I'm trying to put an ad in the newspaper, trying to see if I could get someone who's an O blood type that's willing to possibly donate their kidney to me. And she said, sure. Yeah. Okay. What size? And it was nothing. It was just like literally just drinking a glass of water to her. It's like, sure. What size ad, how many lines? And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is what I have. Like, I just drew something up. It was something that I had previously. And she said, okay, send it over to me and I'll tell you how much it's going to cost. And we could decide, how long you want it in the paper. And so I said, wow, okay, this is good. So I was excited. And so literally the very next week, the ad went live, and they posted it, and it was in all these newspapers, and I took it and I posted it on my Facebook page. I didn't have IG at that time or anything, so I just put it on my Facebook page, and then it started sharing, and it started spreading like wildfire. And then all of a sudden I'm having people from New York reaching out to me saying, hey, I want to get tested and see if I could be your donor. Wow. I'm having people from Chicago, Indonesia. I'm having people from Indonesia wanting to donate get tested and see if they could save my life. Right. So it went like wildfire. It went crazy. So that's how I ended up getting in contact with Christi. She saw the ad as well.
Christi, let's talk about Christi. How did the ad end up to Christi? How did she get word of the ad? Did she see it herself? Did someone tell her about it? And where is Christi from?
So Christi is right here in my backyard. She's from Hamilton, Ontario.
Oh.
Yes. So even though it went everywhere, Indonesia, everyone's reaching out to try to save my life. It was someone right here in my backyard, this wonderful, amazing woman named Christi Nolan. And so the ad that I posted, my cousin shared it on her Facebook page, and Christi saw the ad, as she used to go to church with my cousin. And so they still kept in contact. Christi switched to another parish because she moved, or maybe it was my cousin. Either way, there was somebody switched, someone moved. And so they still kept in contact through Facebook. And she saw the ad and she reached out to my cousin and she said, hey, listen, I'm an O blood type. Maybe I could try and see if I can save your cousin's life. So then she's like, yeah, reach out to her, reach out to her Facebook page and she'd love to talk to you. And at the same time, my cousin called me up. She goes, my gosh, Jeannine, my friend Christi, she's going to call you. She's going to try and be your donor. And I'm like, okay, yes, let's do this. So she reached out to me through Facebook and she said, I saw your ad and I want to see if I can help save your life. So what do I need to do? And I said, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I said, just go to this link. And honestly, I didn't think she was going to do it right away. It is a lengthy application. It's not something that you just go fill out, 2-3 questions and that's it. It is a lengthy application, just like the process of becoming a donor is a lengthy process. So when she said to me, she's going to look at the link and fill out the application. I said, okay, thank you. But I honestly didn't think she was going to do it now. So she did it. And then like 20 minutes later, she reached back out to me. Okay, done. I'm like, what? She says, done. So all we have to do now is wait. And I'm like, wow, God bless you, Christy, because I did not expect that at all. So that's Christy. She sent it in right away. And months later, we got a notification saying, well, she got the call first. And then she called me up. She got the call saying that she was a match. And then she was so excited. She reached out to me and she told me, you know what? This is it. I'm your donor. I'm like, what? She goes, I'm your donor. It's a match. It's a 93% match. I'm like, 93? Wait a second. Are you sure? And she said, that's what they told me. And I'm like, my mind was blown because usually those type of numbers come from family members, relatives. So I said, wow, I need to talk to my father because if it's a 93% match, what's going on? Was there something going on behind the scenes with my father, But yeah, she was a match. And so one thing led to another. And March 27th, 2018, we had surgery.
And that's right at the beginning. No, that's just before COVID. The COVID was 2019.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So a year before COVID. Wow. Just before I go a little bit further, because we do want to show a little video. It's the aftermath of your surgery. We're going to be getting into that. And folks are going to be sharing something really interesting, something I just learned tonight that I didn't know, something that comes along with an organ donation. Sometimes there's something a little extra that comes along with that. Just before I go to the video, I wanted to ask you, is lupus hereditary?
Lupus can be hereditary, but not everybody that gets lupus gets it through the hereditary form. Like for myself, there's nobody in my immediate family that has lupus. So lupus literally is like 1 in 10 can get it. And typically it's women between 20 and 30s, they usually get diagnosed. And it's more predominantly with Black women. So there's 2 to 3 times, Black women are 2 to 3 times higher. Their chances are higher of getting lupus than say Asians or Caucasian. So it is hereditary, but not everybody gets it in that route.
That's curious. That's strange.
Yes. Yeah. Because like I said, nobody in my family has it. Now I am the first and hopefully the last. I don't want my daughter to get this. I don't want anybody. It's not, and I have to be honest, my situation with lupus, everybody's situation is different. Some people, you do get the rashes. Some people have, like kind of like scarring, what have you, on their skin. I have to say I've been very blessed that did not happen to me. But I did receive like the joint problems and the aches and the pains where you get up and you feel like you're literally like 90 years old. You can just barely move. The knees hurt, the knuckles, the joints. That's what I received. I didn't get, the rashes or anything, but I remember those days where, early when I was diagnosed early on, and I would be in my bed sleeping and all of a sudden just everything seizes up. Like it just felt like my legs and my knees and everything seized up. So I had to like try and get up and like kind of slowly work my way out to the living room. I had a stationary bike in the living room and just get on the bike. I'm like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm just pedaling on this bike, just trying to loosen up my joints again, because you can't sleep. You're in pain. Everything seizes up. You could go ahead and take a Tylenol to try and ease it a bit, but it's motion. For myself personally, movement helped, loosen up the joints and just relaxed everything for myself personally. So I would just sit there on the bike and my eyes are closed and I'm just pedaling at like 4 a.m. for like a good half hour, just trying to release this pain so I could finally get back to bed and sleep. So it's not something I wish on anybody.
So Jennen, we went on your website and we, with your permission, of course, we downloaded a video that we're going to be presenting to the audience. And this is right after your surgery.
Yes.
Hey everybody, it's me. This is after surgery. And my voice is quite raspy and harsh because of the tube that I had down my throat. So I might sound kind of robotic, I guess. I went into surgery yesterday. Right now it's Wednesday morning at 6:30. Yeah, 6:30. I've been doing an awful lot of sleeping, so that's the reason why I wasn't able to send you a post yesterday, because I would start talking with my family that was here, and I'd literally just knock right out and just fall asleep during conversations. And so I wasn't able to do that, because if I tried recording, I know I would have probably fallen asleep during the recording. I've been awake for about an hour now, Wednesday morning, and I'm getting tired again. So when I'm done this, I'm gonna go take a little nap. The surgery went well. Dr. Lee, the doctor, he apparently told my family and everyone that the surgery went well. I've been peeing like a bandit. I've been peeing like crazy, which is great. My creatinine levels, they dropped dramatically and instantly.
Wow. What a touching story.
I remember that video. I'm laughing. It's like, wow, I said that. I called him McCutie. That's interesting. So yeah.
So how is it that lupus led to the failure of your kidneys? In which way, what happened exactly?
So literally lupus started attacking my kidneys. It couldn't differentiate between, good and bad. It doesn't differentiate between, the kidneys or liver or anything of the sort. And so it literally just started attacking my immune system. And it just started attacking my kidneys. And apparently I had a small kidney to begin with, which you don't know this, because when you're healthy and you're fine and you're living your life, you don't typically go to the doctor and have your kidney checked out, right? So I had no idea that my kidney was small to begin with. And so now that it's attacking my kidney, it did some very detrimental damage to my kidney. So lupus, it's not something, like I said, I wouldn't wish this on anyone.
So some of the applicants who are reaching out to you, were there some of them who were asking for monetary compensation?
No, none of them. Nobody reached out regarding money. Nobody said, I'll give you my organ if you give me. None of them. That's why I said it just kind of really restored my faith in humanity, because, things were tough. Things were tough at the time. And I was going through that pity party of, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why me? Right. And then eventually I realized, well, why not me? What makes me so special that I can't get sick? So I had to change my mentality. But while I was going through that whole pity party, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. So just to see that everybody was reaching out, wanting to help, regardless of where they were, they're willing to come down. They didn't care about, where they're going to stay. They just wanted to get here and help me out. And that's why I felt like, wow, the humanity, it's still alive. There's a lot of good people out there.
So should a person who is considering donating an organ be concerned about his or her health after, let's say in the case of kidneys, because we've got two of them, giving away one kidney? Can that cause complications for the person who has donated the kidney, that is?
That's a very good question, Rob. And a lot of people ask that exact same question. When you donate, there is no repercussions to your health. You are healthy, you're fine. To begin with, the doctors in the hospital, they're not going to take your organ if you're not able to donate. If they notice that your kidney is small to begin with, or they notice that there's a little bit of trace blood in your urine, or they notice anything, they're not going to even bother look in your direction. They will leave you with what you have, and they'll move on to the next person who's trying to help save that person's life. They don't even touch it. Even when I was going through this process, at that time, I don't know if this still applies now, but at that time, a friend of mine, she's healthy, she's a health nut, she exercises, minimal drinking, everything's great, but she's on antidepressants. And because of that, they didn't take her. They didn't even look in her direction because of this. So, like I said, at that time, that was the norm. That was the standard. I don't know if that's the case now, but she was perfectly healthy, but they wouldn't look in her direction because she was on antidepressants. So it's a very strict process. They don't just take any and everyone. Oh, you might, your kidney's small, we'll take it anyways. No, because they want to help the person, the transplant recipient, live, but they don't want you to die or get sick in the process of saving someone else's life. Right.
So while you were awaiting this kidney, did you have to do anything in particular, especially in terms of, did you have to perform certain exercises? Did you have to respect a certain kind of diet? What is it exactly that you had to do to sustain yourself while you were waiting?
It was pretty much the same thing that we all should do, really. I had to watch my salt intake. The only difference is I really had to watch my salt intake. We all should do that regardless, just for, our basic health. But I had to really watch my salt intake. I had to really watch how I ate, my fat. I couldn't just go to McDonald's and, have a double Big Mac and just, do that every week or whatever. I had to watch my fat intake. I had to eat more vegetables. I had to eat, which wasn't a problem to begin with, but I had to eat more vegetables, more fruits, and just stay active. At that time, I was active to begin with, but they wanted me to continue that. So it wasn't anything that was, ridiculous. It was all manageable because I did it anyways to begin with. But yeah, that was the only, only precautions I had to do prior to surgery.
So on the day of the surgery, did you and Christy, you were both at the hospital awaiting surgery, did you both have a chance to chat before you both went into surgery for the procedures?
I wish we did. We didn't get to speak. We were texting. We were talking to each other through text. Christy went in before I did. So when they took her in, I was there because they have you come to the hospital the night before, because just to avoid any, you're stuck in traffic and we have your kidney, but where are you, right? So they have you, they definitely have you come stay at the hospital, bring everything you need the night before surgery. And Christy went in before I did, and they took the kidney, and when they removed her, they told me to come, it's your turn. They wheeled me in, but they didn't use the same surgery. The same operating room was a completely different operating room that they had me in. And they did the transplant, and surgery was about 6-7 hours for myself. No, sorry, I'm sorry, 4 to 6 hours for my surgery alone. So yeah, we didn't get to really see each other. We even wanted to try and have the same room, like recover in the same room. But unfortunately, that was something they couldn't accommodate either. But yeah, she was, go ahead.
Well, that's unfortunate because it would have been, you did it through text, but it would have been nice, like actually, being there, probably holding hands and,
yes,
giving a hug or something.
Mm-hmm. We actually did that after surgery, though. We did that after surgery. And we were both out of it, directly after surgery, the next day. So I think maybe day 2 of surgery, after surgery, post-surgery, they wheeled her down, and she came in and she was sitting beside my bed. And I was still kind of groggy in and out because I was taking the medication to kind of help with the pain. And it's a pump. So I was, utilizing that pump quite frequently because, we just had major surgery. But Christy started bouncing back a lot quicker than I did. Fantastic. She was just a lot quicker. I don't know if it's because she's a yoga instructor. I'm not sure what it was, but she was bouncing back way quicker than I was. So they wheeled her down to my room, and we were talking, and there's a picture of us holding hands. I was in my bed and she's in the wheelchair, and we're holding hands. And I was just, once again, just thanking her. Thank you for saving my life. So that was a really nice moment. Very nice moment.
For the audience members who know nothing about surgery, because I know for myself, I went through about 5 surgeries, and I can share my experience, and perhaps you can relate to that. And you probably went through something similar than I did each time. I remember going in, and I was literally on a table that was very narrow, and they would put up my arms like this, and I had the impression I was being crucified.
Mm-hmm.
Did you experience, was that what they did to you? And then they put warm blankets over you, and they put this mask over you and made you breathe the anesthesia, whatever it is they give you, and then you started getting a sour taste in your mouth, and before you can count.
Well, with me, I didn't have the taste. But yes, same thing. It was a narrow table. My arms were out. I did a lot of praying at that point in time. And they put the mask over my face, and they just told me to breathe, or just a deep breath, inhale, exhale, and just count backwards from 10 to 1. And one of the doctors commented that, if you don't make it to 1, it's okay. It's okay. And not a lot of people do. That's the whole point, right? You're not supposed to make it. So I'm like, okay, no problem. And I started counting 10, 9, 8, and I have no idea what happened at that point. I don't even know if I actually said 8, to tell you the truth. I was just out. And it was
Well,
just
look,
like, yeah, go ahead.
I made it to 7.
Oh, okay.
I remember going 10, 9, and at 8 I started to get, and then at 7, I think I pronounced the whole number 7, and then I just remember just blacking out.
Yes.
And again, for those of you who are joining us tonight, and I have no idea what being under anesthesia is, Christi, those 6-7 hours you were under anesthesia, did you experience anything out of the normal, like going through a tunnel, seeing someone, seeing relatives? Did you experience something out of the ordinary?
I didn't. It was just a very good sleep. It was just a deep sleep. I don't remember dreaming anything. I don't remember seeing anything. It was just a deep sleep. And then all of a sudden I remember waking up and I was looking around. I was still in the operating room and I was just looking around. I saw people around me, like doctors and nurses, what have you. And then someone came over because they heard me making a noise. And she said, "Oh, welcome back. How are you?" And she was just very friendly. But I don't remember anything when I was out. Like it was just a deep sleep. And I woke up and there was just a bunch of people around. And that was it.
And I remember you relating to me in a previous conversation is that the moment you woke up, you were under the impression you were hit by a car.
Yes. It felt like I was hit by a truck. Like I felt sore. Like it was almost like I was hit by a truck, or I felt like I did a lot of crunches, like a lot of a stomach workout, like a lot of crunches, like 100, 200 crunches for some reason, back to back to back. And my stomach, my midsection was just sore. And that's what it felt like. Like I just literally, like it was hit by a truck, or it was just way too many crunches all at once. It was painful. Thank goodness for that pump.
I learned this today, and I was actually shocked to learn this. And audience members, this is going to be something you're going to enjoy learning. And this is totally unbelievable. Chrissy gave away her organ, her kidney, to our guest tonight, Jennen. Jennen told me that with that kidney, a package of other things came along with it. Jennen, would you care to explain what it is?
Well, they say, like, there's, people out there who've experienced this, whereas when you receive a transplant, whether it's a kidney or heart, that sometimes you feel different, like you were taking something from that person who donated it to you. So I had a guest on the show on the Green Table Talk on my YouTube channel. She explained that when she had her surgery, she was not really, much of a health buff. Like she wasn't really into exercising and yoga or anything. But after receiving her transplant, all of a sudden, shortly thereafter, she felt like she wanted to exercise more. She felt she wanted to be a little bit more healthy. She wanted to eat better. But she wasn't like that before. Like before, she did eat healthy, but she never had that drive to want to exercise and just get healthy in that sense. And come to find out, through a little bit of snooping and asking questions, she found out after the fact that her donor was a male and he was very into sports, very athletic, very, all about, self-care. And he was that type of person, yoga and everything. So she's like, oh, maybe this kind of transferred over through the kidney. Is that even a thing? And so I feel that, and myself and Christi, we actually discussed it. Christi used to do like a lot of late night snacking. So 2 a.m, she'll get up and start eating, little snacks here and there. I never did that. I tried to, I always avoided that late night snacking thing. But Rob, after surgery, I was eating at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, like it was 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm just eating like it's going out of style, Rob. It was crazy because I started doing that after surgery, but Christi didn't do it anymore. After she donated her kidney, her late night snacking stopped. Mine started.
So whatever that person has, or, he or she has, comes along with the kidney, let's not hope that one day there's going to be a $1 million debt coming with that kidney.
Oh boy.
That paying the loan.
I hope not.
Wow. We're so glad that things worked out for you. And we're so glad to have you on our show tonight. God bless both you and Chrissy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate that. And like, it was definitely a journey, and I'm happy I went on that journey with Christi.
Well, I'm going to back up your claim by reading something from Multi-Brief's document.
Mm-hmm.
And it says here, many organ transplant recipients describe change in personality, reporting they have acquired the tastes, emotions, and even memories of their deceased donors. The occurrence is more widely reported among those receiving donor hearts than other transplant groups, and is described by some professionals endorsing these phenomena as cellular memory. There you go. So that backs up your claim. And it doesn't have to be from a deceased person. It could be from a person who's alive and well, will give you a part of his or her body, and you end up getting some of the good or bad habits that come with it.
Exactly. Doesn't have to be deceased at all, because Christi was alive and well, and she donated, and I started eating like, like I just couldn't stop. And the other person that I was speaking of, same thing, her donor, it was a living donor. And same situation. She all of a sudden became this health nut, this health guru, and she's into yoga and into all this, healthy stuff, which is always good, right? So yeah, it doesn't have to be deceased at all.
So because of this, have you become a public speaker? Have you been giving conferences?
Not conferences, but I have decided that, with this gift, I need to share my journey. I need to educate. I need to put the word out there. I need to, do something to help people understand what this is like and how you can give back and how you affect others, how, donating, whether it's a piece of your liver, whether it's your kidney, how donating can actually help someone else's life. Like, not a lot of people out there know that when you donate a piece of your kidney grows back to full size. Not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people know that you recover quickly from these surgeries. Like, if everything goes according to plan, you will recover quickly. There is no long lasting side effects or anything of the sort for the donor there or the recipient. There's nothing that, that hampers, other than the scar that you might have. There's nothing that hampers you from donating. We are all created in such a way that we can help each other. We can donate blood for each other. We can save each other's life. And so I made it my mission after transplant. I'm going to go ahead, and that's where the ACB YouTube channel came along, where we educate and we share information. We post videos. We talk about, like I said, for whether it's kidney transplant or if someone had a heart transplant. There's a gentleman on there. His name is Charles. He had a heart. He had the kidney. He had, everything. Diabetes kicked in. Like, his story is amazing, and he's still here today, live and kicking. But if someone didn't take the time to donate, whether it's to myself or anybody else that's on that channel sharing their journey, we wouldn't be here today. So I made it my job, my responsibility to take the time and educate. I'm currently part of the Living Organ Donor Committee as well, and through the UHN network. And I share information that way as well. And we try to, put together events, Living Organ Donor Week, etc., to try and help educate and help share the news and try to, get rid of the stigmas. So that's what I had to do. You can't take a blessing, Rob, and not do something good with it, not give back. That's not right. It's not
I've
right.
heard a lot of stories that, and it's usually the case, people who have, received will give back in some way, especially in life-saving situations such as yours.
Yes, you have to. You have to give back. Shortly after my surgery in March, in September, October was the kidney run, the Kidney Foundation run. I had to do it. Like, I had to sign up. I had to get donors, and I had to take part in this run. This is obviously pre-COVID, and it was in Hyde Park here in Toronto. And I went ahead, and at that point, I said, you know what? There's no way I could let this pass and not do something. So I went ahead, joined. At the end of the finish line, I took a picture of myself posing. I was excited, happy that we did this. And, it's happening again. It's coming up again. But it's going to be online this time because of, restrictions. But I have to do it. I just have to. You can't just take a blessing and say thank you and walk away. You have to give back.
Exactly. We're going to be showing another video. It's a small clip. And this, I believe, is after a few months or sometime after the surgery.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Jennen, finally giving you my report
post-surgery. I thank you so much for being patient and waiting for this blog to come on out. It took a while. It took a while for me to do this blog, but I'm sure you understood the reasons why. Thank you very much for everybody that's been reaching out to me, asking me how I'm doing, sending me flowers, sending me balloons, cards. It's been extremely overwhelming, and I really love the support and all the love that I've been getting from everyone. I've decided to do this blog outside because it's beautiful out here. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and why stay cooped up inside? It's nice. So I said, you know what? I'm going to come on out and do this blog out here and share with everybody what's been going on with me. It's been a few weeks now, maybe about 3 weeks since surgery, March 27th. So it's about 3 weeks since surgery. I've been doing really well. I came out 4 days, as you probably heard, 4 days after surgery. Both Christi and I came out 4 days after surgery. It was painful. Like, there were moments where I sneezed or I coughed or whatever I did, it was just painful to do it. But as time went on, I got stronger, stomach got stronger, the core got stronger, and it didn't hurt anymore. And so now I still can't lift anything heavy, nothing more than 10 pounds. I'm increasing in speed while I'm walking, which is great. I'm trying new things. I'm starting to eat things that I couldn't eat before, things that would make me nauseous or things that would just, straight out make me vomit. So now I'm reincorporating that back into my diet. Yesterday was a big day for me. I had hot chocolate for the first time, which the last time I tried that, it didn't stay down very well. I had tomatoes yesterday for the first time. Once again, that didn't used to stay down very well either.
Wow. Look at you. You're up and running after 3 weeks of surgery. That's totally amazing.
3 weeks. Yeah, it was definitely a journey. It was definitely a journey. And honestly, Rob, I was listening to myself. Like, I haven't seen that video in a while. But as I listened to myself talk, I remember saying in the video that I was trying new things because when I was going through kidney failure, I couldn't do certain things anymore, like eat ice cream, for example, with my daughter. At that time she was 12, and we, like everybody else, you go out and have ice cream, ice cream treat. Couldn't do it. It would make me nauseous. I would literally feel like I need to throw up afterwards. So I would avoid that. And then certain foods that I truly avoid, I truly loved eating, like tomatoes or putting cucumbers on my salad and tomatoes and what have you, couldn't do it anymore. Like, it just wouldn't stay down. Salads, not so much anymore. It just, the certain things you just couldn't eat. And so I remember when I was watching the video, I said, yes, I remember that, having hot chocolate, and it actually stayed down. It's like a big thrill, you know what I mean? And then I started incorporating other things, and slowly but surely, the ice cream and everything started coming back. And I'm like, I'm starting to feel like me again. It was nice. It was nice. But I still can't eat tomatoes, though. That's something I still can't eat.
I find very commendable anyone who comes in and decides to be a donor, even though he or she passed all the tests. Of course, the recipient has no choice, has to undergo the surgery, and we always hope for the best for them. But a person going in, who's perfectly healthy, is going to be giving an organ, is made fully aware that there are certain risks with the surgery. Maybe they won't wake up from the anesthesia. Maybe something can go terribly wrong. But despite all that, they go ahead and they do what they feel in their hearts is right. So I just want to tip my hat to them.
Yes.
They're taking a humongous risk.
Definitely.
Putting their own lives at risk, and they're made aware of it, and they still do it.
And that's the reason why, actually, Rob, that they ask the donors several times throughout the process, are you sure you want to do this? Do you still want to donate? If you don't want to donate, it's okay. We'll tell the recipients, basically they'll tell us, they'll make something up and tell us, or they could just come out and say this person changed their mind. If it was anonymous, and they say, this person changed their mind. But they ask you several times throughout the process, are you sure this is something that you want to do? And at any time, you could turn around and say, you know what? I changed my mind. But the fact that you still come through every time and say, nope, I'm still doing this. Nope, I want to do it. That is commendable, because it's a lot. Like, it's a lot. You're not only you're saving someone else's life, but you're also putting your own life on hold, because now you've got to go through the recovery process and the pain and what have you before you become 100% again. Right. So some people could see that as an inconvenience. Why would I want to do something like that? Why do I want to stop my life and what I normally do? I'm a busy husband. I'm a busy wife. I'm a busy student, whatever the situation is, to literally stop and take 2 months out of my life and recover. Why would I do that? But there are great people out there that decide, yes, it's worth the risk.
And just to outline how great they are, and not only they have to go through their recovery, the physical and emotional stress after that, they're also losing out on wages. You know, they have to stay away from work and all that. This is all done voluntarily and through, through love. And I just want to give a huge shout out to all of these people. I mean, I'm just, wow. This is a terrific way to be a human being. You know, sometimes I ask myself, is humanity really where it should be at? And it's moments like this that just make me realize and say, wow, there is hope for humanity.
It's true. It is very true. Extremely true. And if it wasn't for them, a lot of transplant recipients would not be here because of this. There's a couple times I remember some people, they read the ad and they thought that I was looking for a donor for my daughter. So they would reach out and say, hey, I'm willing to be a donor for your 12-year-old daughter. And after I explained to them, thank you so much, I appreciate that, but it's actually for me. And then, okay, great, no problem. What do I need to do? Like, they thought it was for my daughter and they found it was for the mom instead. They didn't care. What do I need to do? What do I have to, where do I sign up? What website do I need to go to? Like, that's humanity at its best. Right? They came thinking it's for one person, which is a 12-year-old daughter, but it's the mom instead. It's okay. Let's do it. What do we need to do?
What I'm curious about is that you take an adult, a fully grown adult, in his or her 40s, kidneys, let's say this big. You just figuratively, I don't know exactly the size of a kidney is. And then you're going to transplant into a child who's 12 years old, whose kidney is like a reality like this. How do you fit that in there?
You know what? It's actually, they say the size of a fist, your kidney. So they say it's about the size of a fist approximately. But, mine was a lot smaller than that, as I mentioned before. And so I don't know. Like, that's why they go to med school, Rob. I really don't know how it works. I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I really couldn't tell you. Or maybe it's the heart. And maybe it's the heart that's the size of a fist. I don't want to give false information. I know something's the size of a fist. It could be the heart. I don't know if it's the kidney.
The heart, you're right.
It is the heart, right? Okay.
Exactly. Now, the kidney, I don't know how big a kidney is.
So even if it is an adult kidney, trying to transplant it into a child, it's got to be some type of, I don't know. That's the doctors. I can't.
Well, it ought to fit. It's got the word kid in there.
Right?
So
they definitely make it work.
I've been informed it is the size of a fist.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, do you think that the public has enough resources to be educated enough about this illness and how they can help? Do you think that there's a lack of knowledge, lack of information out there that could be more done to inform the public?
I think there's information out there, but there definitely could be more information, because I know when it came to myself and trying to find a donor, I went to friends and family first, and some of them tried and it didn't work. It just didn't work. There wasn't a match. But I do also know that some of the people that I reached out to, they were hesitant because there's a lot of misinformation. So if I donate, it's going to reduce my lifespan. Or if I donate, what happens if, my cousin or my aunt or my child, when he or she grows up, what if they happen to need a kidney, but then I donated it to you, so now I can't donate to them. There's a lot of misinformation out there in regards to donation and transplant. So I definitely think that we do need more resources, and especially when it comes to the ACB community, there's not a lot of resources out there for us as well. This is one of the reasons why we came up with the ACB Organ Health Channel, because this is where you could get this information. Some people feel, especially with the ACB community, they don't want to look into it. They don't want to talk about it. There's that stigma about it. This is what you have. And if you don't want to, what's the saying? This is what God gave me. And when I die, I want to go right back to God with what I got. Like, I don't want to donate it. I want to keep it for me. But he gave you these organs so you can share, you can help if need be. That's why we're made the way we are. So we can share, whether it's blood or organs, whether it's bone marrow, what have you. right? So there's a lot of misinformation out there. And so we definitely need more resources so we can educate and put that proper knowledge into the hands of your viewers and the hands of the viewers of ACB community, and just, just put that out there. We definitely need to educate more.
Did you reach a point, because let's face it, you have 4 years to live. You're in a waiting list that's 6 years long. You're not getting much of a response. Major newspapers turned you down. Yeah, it's been shared 2,000 times on Facebook, but nothing's coming in quickly. Did you reach a point where you're saying to yourself that you felt like giving up on the fight?
Yes. I felt, there was a few times that I felt like this is it. Like, we're trying, but it's not coming through. And I did have those moments. I try to keep them very minimal, because I truly believe that if you put all this negative stuff into your mind, that's going to start festering and it'll just take everything all over. So once I received those moments and I just was just down, and I just felt like, you know what, I'm done. That's when my mom would kick in and she would say, okay, you know what? Enough. We need to snap out of this. You had your moment. You cry, you shake it off, you get it off. You just get it all out. We got to go. We get back on the horse. Let's do this. Same thing with my husband. He was, you know what? We understand. Do what you got to do. Get it off your chest. It's okay. You're human. But we need to get right back on again. We can't let this take us over. You can't let all this negativity take you over, because once that happens, it's all over. It's finished. You have to stay positive. You have to stay positive. And I had to stay positive for my daughter, because like I said, I was not going to leave this earth when she's turning 16. I'm not leaving the earth even after, right now she's turning 17. I don't plan on leaving anytime soon, Rob. I do not plan anytime soon, God willing. So, yeah.
So if anyone wants to have you up there, it's bad news. I'm not ready to come.
Exactly. That's it. I have too much things to do right now. Too much things to do.
What was Janine's childhood like growing up in the Johnson's household as a child?
I was a very happy child. Rob, I came out from my mom and she brought me home. And this is a true story. My mom brought me home and she got concerned. Okay. My mom got concerned because I was always laughing. I was continuously laughing. And she thought something was wrong with me. So she literally took me back to the hospital. I was born at St. Joseph's Hospital in Toronto. She took me back to the hospital, telling them something is wrong with my child. And they asked her, well, what's wrong? Is she in a fever? Come, and brought her into a room and everything. Is it a fever? Is it this? Is it that? And she goes, no, she's always making this noise. She's always laughing. She's always laughing. So she doesn't know, am I laughing because I'm trying to disguise a pain? Why am I always laughing? What is going on? Is she laughing to disguise, she's hungry? What is going on? And they laughed at my mom. They laughed at her and they said, Mrs. Johnson, you're doing a great job. There's nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry. You're good. You're good.
That has got to be, go on.
So basically that's the beginning. Like I've always been happy, outgoing throughout, childhood was great. I had great friends. I'm still, friends with them to this day. My best friend from elementary school, she's the godmother of my daughter. I'm the godmother of her daughter. Life is good. I am very blessed. I cannot complain. I have a great life. Great life.
So while you were in school, you were involved in a whole bunch of activities, and you were involved especially in music. But of all things, you weren't playing the violin or the guitar or singing. You were playing the drums.
Yes. Yes.
Why the drums?
I love the drums, Rob. Love the drums. Like I could just do my own thing on the drums. I was actually part of the band as well. And it was freeing. I didn't have to try and remember all these notes and play the flute. No, that's not me. I just want to bang away at the drums and just be free, do what I got to do. And that was it. Myself and my best friend at that time as well, Sandy, we just wailed away on the drums. And then we had performances where you can get together. It was called Jam Night. And you get on stage and you're performing. If anybody who felt that they had a talent or a gift or anything of the sort, you could get on stage and just show it off. And so our band would go up there, and it was like our band / you get a credit for it too, right? So, but that was the bonus where you get credit for this. And we went up there and we played the drums. I also played the timpani. That's that big round drum, and has like big, looks like a drumstick with like basically cotton balls at the end, and just bang away at it. Did that as well. loved playing the drums. That was my thing.
One of your most memorable lifetime moments is how you met your husband to be on that evening when you just didn't feel like going out.
I did not. So I went, it was an interesting story. So a friend of mine, she wanted to go to a wedding. And this wedding, the reason why she wanted to go there, honestly, was because her ex was going to be there. And she just wanted to go there and just kind of show him, this is what you're missing. You know what I mean? That, you're gone. All of this is gone too, see ya type of thing. And so she didn't want to do this by herself. She wanted her wing woman there as well. So she asked me to go, and I'm like, oh, I have nothing to wear. My hair isn't done. Like, this is, I can't. I did not want to go. So she convinced me. She goes, listen, Jennen, I swear to you, only 2 hours of your time. And that's it. We can leave. We don't have to stick around past it. I'm like, are you sure? And she said, yes, only time. I'm like, oh, fine. So I managed to find something. I did whatever it was that I did with my hair and went to this wedding. Get to the wedding, and everybody's like, the reception at this point, everybody's listening because they're doing the speeches at this point. So I'm wearing heels and she's wearing heels. We're walking across the dance floor to get to the seats, and I'm trying not to make too much noise because it's wood, the dance floor, you can hear your heels. So long story short, we get to the other side of the dance floor, we sit down, and then we see her ex. He comes over, but also the other groomsmen come over as well, because when we're crossing the dance floor, one of the groomsmen at the head table saw me cross by, and he was just like, according to my husband, now he's my husband, at that time, he was just like mesmerized. Meanwhile, I was just kind of like trying to tiptoe across the floor quietly, but he was just mesmerized. So when, the reception was on now and everyone's mingling and dancing, what have you, he came on over and he started talking to me. He's like, hi, what's your name? And he's introducing to himself. But I was actually looking at his friend. I was like, ooh, that guy's kind of cute, right? So I wasn't even looking at him really like that. So he came over, he introduced, and one thing led to another. We had great conversation, and all of a sudden, he's asking for my number. So I said, okay, fine. I'll give him the number. It's not going to go anywhere anyways, but I'll give him the number, right? So he was very determined. He kept calling. He kept trying to get together. What are you doing tonight? You want to go to the movies? And I kept, dodging. I'm dipping and I'm dodging. And I'm like, I can't. I didn't have to go to the hairdresser today. Or I would come up with a whole bunch of stuff. And then eventually I said, you know what? Let me give it a try. What's the worst that could happen? We have good conversations on the phone. Let's give it a try and see what happens. So I went out with him on a date. We went to see Spider-Man at the movies, and he was very funny. He was extremely funny. And he came out and he told me, you know what, I have a confession. I said, sure, what's going on? He goes, that night that I saw you at the wedding, I went home that night and I called my mom and I told her I met the woman of my dreams. I met my future wife. I said, what? Because I told her I met my future wife. I wasn't thinking anything along those lines. Like, I was not. But he went and he told his mom he met his future wife. And now, here we are, married 12, 13 years later, our beautiful daughter, she's turning 17 in a couple of months.
Wow.
So expect the unexpected. That's literally what this story is about. Expect the unexpected, and, anything can happen.
And what a beautiful story you shared with us this evening. Wow, it just flew right by.
Oh my gosh, it's an hour. Jeez.
It's an hour. Yeah, this hour only has, 23 minutes?
Yes. Yes.
That's my version of the CBC television show.
Mm-hmm.
In closing, tell us what advice would you have for anyone who's undergoing a situation similar to yours, who can be in a situation that is similar to what you were going through? What advice could you give that person right now?
Have faith, have faith, have faith. Stay strong. You need a great system, a great support system around you. You need to lean on people. You need to speak to people, speak to others. You need to find out other people's journeys with this to see that there is a way out. There is the other side, and you can come through this completely victorious, but you have to have faith. You need to believe, regardless of if it's religion, if it's Buddhism, if it's whatever the situation is, you have to have a faith-based, and you have to stay focused, and you need to keep your friends close, have them, lean on them. If you want to scream, scream. Don't feel guilty. If you want to cry, cry. Let it all out. But you have to stay faithful to yourself, and you have to realize, and stay positive. Realize that you will come through this. You will come through this. This isn't the end. You will come through this.
Jennen, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This was lots of fun.
And we welcome you once again to stay behind the backstage. We're having a party. We're having a meet and greet. So we count on your presence.
You just said my keyword, party. Let's do this.
Let's do it. It's not a wedding, but it's a party.
It's okay.
Thank you, Jennen. We'll be catching up with you in a couple of seconds.
Thank you. You take care.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning into this amazing show tonight. A beautiful story of survival. Jennen, who, against all odds, actually ended up getting a kidney and today is as healthy as can be. Congratulations to you, Christi Nolan, for such a kind act. And to anyone out there who's about to do the same thing, hats off to you. You're very courageous and you're doing something really beautiful to save a life. Join us this upcoming Wednesday when yours truly and Esther Brzezinski, my co-host of Noon Hour Out of the Box, we're going to be talking about this week. It's going to be all about jealousy, and you can watch the show on my Facebook page, personal Facebook page, on the Bobby Short Shorts YouTube channel and Esther's Breeze YouTube channel. Every Saturday between noon and 3, our shows are rebroadcast on, they're live on accessradio.ca, and you can catch some really interesting shows. They're the extended versions that we have on our weekly shows on Wednesdays. Next week, we're going to have another amazing guest, so we want you to tune in and enjoy the show and to be part of a great audience like you have been this evening. So, guys, from Montreal, we're bidding you farewell. We hope you have a fantastic week, and we can't wait to see you next week. Good night, everybody.